Hello and welcome to the What Hi-Fi show and to this Denon Q&A session. I'm here with Oliver Kriete, who is the Denon product manager for Europe and who has been working for Denon for over 20 years. Throughout his career, he has been deeply involved in the development of future products, as well as the implementation of the latest AV technologies. He also plays a pivotal role in maintaining the Denon sound philosophy for all products, working in unison with the Denon Soundmaster in Japan. Oliver, welcome.
Thank you, Joe, for this nice introduction, and thank you for the invitation. I'm pretty happy to be here at What Hi-Fi and have the opportunity to talk to you guys out there about Denon. And thank you very much for taking the time watching this one here. Please make sure that you use the chat box on the side to put in your questions so we can answer these on the fly during our presentation.
Obviously, you've been working in the home entertainment industry for 20 years, but now seems like a really interesting time with a lot of changes happening. What are you excited about at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back to 20 years, I think I never experienced such a year like the last year. And while COVID is a bad thing, it is really, let's say, a boost for our industry because you are locked down at home, and there's a nice way to spend some time listening to music and watching movies. So home entertainment is really on a high these days. Yeah, so we never experienced such a good sales, I have to say. So we are really happy at our side with the offers we can make to you to spend your time at home with the joy, with the pleasure.
And obviously the way that we can watch films and TV shows and home entertainment generally has really changed a lot, and there are new services and new ways of doing things, which I guess also plays into the hands of the home entertainment industry and you guys making the products.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Netflix anyhow has been strong on the market already. Disney last year joined the streaming services, and they actually reached the number of subscribers they expected to get within the first 5 years. They already managed within 1 year. So that's an extremely successful launch of Disney Plus. And in addition to that, we now have PVOD, so premium video on demand services available, which actually brings you blockbusters into your home even before they got launched in theaters, because theaters are closed, you can't go there. So the movie industry is looking for new ways to get the movies out to the audience, to the customer, and the PVOD is of course the way to go for them.
Yes.
So this gives them. Okay, go on.
Sorry, as you mentioned, there are obviously more and more ways we can enjoy home entertainment. It's interesting, as you say, that blockbuster movies are coming into our homes quicker and quicker, even after theatrical releases. But obviously, at the moment, we can't go to cinemas. But even when we hopefully get back to normal, I think more and more people are going to be watching and enjoying films at home. So I guess with that in mind, that takes us neatly onto that big object next to you. Denon has a great range of AV receivers. Tell us a little bit more about them and how people can use them to enjoy the movie experience at home.
Right, yeah. So, the TV screen makes a nice picture. We have 4K, we have some test runs on 8K even, so the picture quality is fantastic, which you can get at home, much better even than in a cinema. And even if you go for a projector, you can really get big screens. While if you watch on a TV and just would use the TV speakers, you are losing the whole impact of the movie, because the sound is actually which brings the movie to life. And what is the best solution for that is, of course, a nice AV receiver, which is firing up your speakers. So to get you all the nice sound effects, the atmosphere over your from the movie into your living room.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it's fair to say we've been a big fan of Denon's recent products with 5-star reviews for the X2700 and the X6700, plus even a Product of the Year award for the 3700.
Exactly.
So what makes these products in particular so special?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say thank you for all these great reviews we got into your house. Of course, they do come for a reason, because we worked very hard on our portfolio of AV receivers over the years. And I also have prepared a little slide here just to show you how we moved on from in the past years with our AV receiver lineups, and the reviews we got, the 5 stars, 4 stars reviews, how it developed over the years. So from 2016, I started now here, where we started to have in the entry to mid-class some AV receivers. And over the years, we actually increased the number of AV receivers into your portfolio, or which got reviewed by What Hi-Fi, because we caught your interest into the receivers of Denon. And actually, we made a nice progress here to get from 4 stars to 5 stars. And this really repeating this year on year. And the big reason behind it is, of course, that we do listen very carefully to our products, of course, but also to the press, what they are talking about and how they are reviewing our product. And also we are identifying or checking what the consumer actually is saying about our products. If you check the internet forums, you get a lot of feedback, detailed feedback, and there we can identify where we have some shortages, where we are strong, and where we maybe have to balance out certain things. And we're doing this very carefully year on year, and have a nice continuity into this to really keep the quality level of our receivers. Doesn't matter in which range of receivers you are, be it a mid or upper class or even the entry class. We always look for the best performance per price class, and this we do very continuously over the years. And yeah, actually we manage this by qualified engineering, but also by a lot of listening we do. So every product we actually bring to the European market is evaluated, gets listened to and tuned in our European head office, which is located in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven. And you can see a picture here from one of these sessions where we have then on the top, on the lower right corner, you can see that we line up the AV receivers so that we really can compare predecessor to new entry, but also to the upper and lower models, so that we actually exactly know how our receivers fit in the lineup and how they perform against the upper or the lower model as well. So that we really have a nice consistency in our performance.
That's really interesting to hear, because it's very similar to how we work. You know, we're all about performance per pound, and that's our whole ethos of reviewing. And also we're all about comparative testing. So it's really interesting to see that you guys are doing a similar thing. You know, you're comparing your receivers to other receivers on the market, as well as their predecessors, and improving them. And as you say, it's clearly worked. You know, we're big fans of how the recent Denon amps have sounded. I'd say in AV receiver market, more so than many others, the technologies that the products have to have are really crucial. And there's, you know, a lot of box ticking and badges to be added to the amps in order for consumers to be happy. Which technologies do you think are most important at the moment?
Yeah, you made an important point, Joe. So first of all, if a customer goes out to buy an AV receiver, he's checking the features. Yeah, so you need to check a certain functionality, which is just introduced to the market. You actually need to have it already. Yeah, because with an AV, if you buy an AV receiver, you would like to have a kind of future-proof solution. Yeah, you don't want to have it outdated in 2 or 3 years. So you're really checking always for the latest features to be included. Yeah, if we talk about features, or let's say the design of our products, I have another list here. Actually, we always build it up on 3 pillars, and latest connectivity is one. So if you talk about technologies All the network connectivity, of course, needs to be there for music streaming and functions like AirPlay or Bluetooth. So this is covered. But also on the video side, you need the latest video connectivity on HDMI. And here for specific now, last year introduced the HDMI 2.1 supporting 8K. Then you need to be on technology side, you have to ensure that you have the latest audio format supported. Beside, let's say or call it standard Dolby Atmos or DTS-X, you of course also need to have something more special for the advanced users, for the premium products, and then you add technology like IMAX Enhanced or Auro 3D. So Denon has always been on the forefront to have the latest technologies already included in their product to be, let's say, first to market. And as mentioned before already, the third pillar is our audio legacy we have. We have a lot of experience in how to build amplifiers, how to make the strong performing AV receiver to drive your 5, 7, 9, whatever number of speakers up to 13. That's what we have right now at the maximum with the ABC 8500 here. But also combined with the knowledge how all these technologies have to work together, because only if they really seamlessly work together and you take care about all, let's say, little nitty and gritty details, you get to the best performance and you get a class-leading AV receiver. Yeah, and if you talk one highlight last year for sure was the HDMI 2.1. Yeah, so for the better audio, video experience, better user experience, better gaming experience. So this was a big challenge we faced to get it in time on the market, and even under COVID situation, we managed to launch it last year in June. So we have been first to market with HDMI 2.1.
So a lot of features and a lot of specifications for you guys to work on and for consumers to get excited about. Let's say they're sold and they're buying their new Denon AVR. Obviously, that's not the end of the story. They need the right partnering equipment, the setup, the choice of speakers, etc. as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's also here, it's let's say you always have to see the full system. Yeah, it's not just about the electronics. You also have to find the fitting speakers. Fitting doesn't mean now it needs to fit to the electronic, because electronic actually is quite strong, but the speakers do have to fit your, let's say, living room environment. Yeah, so they have to fit cosmetically, they have to fit size-wise, the numbers of speakers have to fit. So that, of course, you also have to take into consideration when putting up a system. And also the room itself, of course, makes a difference. So it's, yeah, you have to see the full package. And then, of course, it comes to setting up everything and getting it wired and position the speakers in the right spots. And not always it fits, you can put the speaker on the right spot where it actually needs to be, but it's maybe a bit more to the left or a bit more to the right, because there's a window or there's a door. It's not normally not perfect. Actually, you don't have a real theater at home where you really can put everything like you want to do. So, but to get all this done, we do support our customers by a setup assistant, which is built into our AV receivers, and you will get guided step by step where to position the speakers, how to connect it, where you have to connect your source player to, what kind of settings are required, getting hooked up to the network so that you can do the music streaming. And one important point is always also the speaker calibration. Yeah? So you have to define the distance to your main listening position. You have to decide how big is your speaker. Is it full range, or is it a small size speaker so it only can handle frequencies for example, above 100 hertz? Do I have a subwoofer? And to get this automized as much as possible, we have Odyssey room calibration built into our receivers. And actually this Odyssey program takes over and does it all for the customer.
So a lot of technology, but there is help from the AVR in terms of getting it all set up and getting it working properly, which is good to know and good to hear, I'm sure, for lots of consumers. Of course, you just gave a sneak peek. There is another option. You know, if you're thinking this all sounds a bit too complicated for you, or perhaps you just don't have the space for an AVR and a lot of speakers, there are, of course, soundbars now. Can soundbars really offer a good alternative to an AVR?
They are an alternative, and it also depends on, of course, it's the same like with AV receivers. Yeah, you have entry to premium class, and if you just take an entry soundbar, it will be hard to compete with an AV receiver. But if you really go up in the line and spend more money for a soundbar, so you have to see, if you take an AV receiver, you easily spend £500–600 for it. You add a speaker setup or a set of speakers to it, another £600 to £1,000. So you already at £1,500–1,600, and then you want to compete with a soundbar. It's a bit of a challenge if the soundbar only costs £200–300. So you can't really compare it apple to apple here. But you have to see also soundbars can significantly improve the sound performance of your TV. So replacing the built-in speakers. And we have a wide portfolio of soundbars, just from a simple one, which is just a soundbar without any subwoofer. Then you have soundbar with subwoofers. Then you get soundbars which support Chromecast. Then you have soundbars which do have 3D audio as well. So you have Atmos and DTS:X support. So you get a virtual 3D audio. And then, as you can see here on the picture, the Denon Home 550. So that's the latest soundbars we added. So that's the big one at the bottom, of course, not the top ones. These are the wireless speakers we have in our portfolio. No, but the Denon Home 550 bar, it also does Dolby Atmos and also DTS:X. But it also integrates our HEOS network platform for music streaming, which we also use for all our AV receivers and hi-fi products. And actually, this soundbar also allows you, due to HEOS, to add wireless surround speakers to it. So yeah, you really can set up with the soundbar also a nice surround experience. Yeah. It can start with a simple bar underneath your TV, but it can also grow to a real system. And of course, it's much easier to set up in comparison to an AV receiver.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's a product category that's massively improved over the last, 4 to 5 years, and there are now some genuinely really compelling options, and you can spend quite a lot of money on a soundbar if you want to try and really get that full, almost surround sound experience from one box. And as you say, it's an upgrade on your TV speakers, isn't it, really, rather than a comparison with an AVR. You mentioned HEOS, which is Denon's streaming platform. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Correct, yeah. So you see on the picture still the Denon Home, let's say, portfolio, because it's a soundbar, but on top you also see the Denon Home 150, 250, and 350. These are our wireless speakers, and they all support HEOS. And HEOS is actually our platform. I will go to one slide further and make it a big screen. It's our platform. HEOS stands for Home Entertainment Operation System. So that's where HEOS is coming from. It's much easier to remember than the long version. And actually, it's our platform, our connection to the network, and it allows us to do music streaming in high resolution, be it from your local network or also from the cloud. So it's our gateway to all the music services like Spotify, Deezer, Napster, Rhapsody, SoundCloud, Tidal. So they're all supported. And we also support Amazon Music HD, so that you also can get CD quality music streamed. And from your network, of course, you can also do a high resolution up to DST 11.2. So it's all there to get connected, to get your music to the AV receiver or to the speakers. And the second functionality of the HEOS network module is that it does multi-room. So we can connect all the products which do support HEOS, can talk to each other and can get connected to each other so that they share the same contents, that you have a real whole home entertainment system. So you can share your music across the whole house. And that's not just via the wireless speakers, but also via hi-fi systems, AV receivers, design systems, soundbars. So we have really, we can cover a lot of all the different categories where you can enjoy music over. And it also goes across brands. So we have Denon, we have Marantz, we have Classe. So it's all building up to really build, make a big family based on the HEOS technology. You know,
so essentially all these products we've talked about today can talk to each other and communicate and play music seamlessly.
And just the portfolio where you can see the wireless speakers, but also the AV receiver, hi-fi components, the systems, or even for the custom installation business, we have some solutions available. Okay.
So a huge amount of technology going on, lots of things to be excited about in AV and hi-fi. It seems almost churlish to ask, but we're always in this industry wanting to know what's next. So I guess with all that in mind, those products and the technologies, you know, what are you most excited about seeing in the next 2 to 4 years?
Yeah, we also like to always would like to know what's coming next. That would make the life for our engineering team much easier if they already would know what is coming. But let's say with last year introduction of the HDMI 2.1, we already paved the way for new technologies to come. We know with internet, there's no real limitation anymore on bandwidth. So, and it's even, the bandwidth is growing as well, which means again that streaming services will upgrade the performance. Yeah, not only on audio side, but also on video side. So what we really can expect is that the contents we get delivered, the contents we will get into our home via the internet, the quality will just increase step by step. And let's say our AV receivers or hi-fi products are already capable to follow and to support these higher resolutions. So we are set by having HDMI 2.1. We have a kind of future readiness built in. What the customer always can expect, so I talked about we are doing a lot of efforts in our tuning process of the products to make them sound good. And we are never satisfied. So we always try to find the extra bit here and there to even go the ladder a step up. Yeah, so we can't bring perfect products to market, because then you never would get any product to market. So at one point we just have to say, okay, we have to stop now. We have to move to the next step to at one point go to production. But of course, for the next generation products, we always have certain ideas in mind to excel the performance further. And then we talked about the complexity of AV receivers and the simplicity of soundbars. So that's actually, we call it UX, user experience. That's the way customer can operate or interact with our products. And here we do work on new concepts, which I hope we can realize in the next 2-3 years to come to market, to have nicer solutions, which are, let's say, having the same performance like an AV receiver, but are much easier to operate like a soundbar. Yeah, so making the home entertainment easier to access, because that's actually the key. How can the customer get to the best performance very easy and quickly? So that's where our vision goes at the moment. And for sure, there will be some new technologies, but we can't talk about it right now. Yeah, so, but we have exciting times ahead to us.
Sounds good. New concepts,
Yeah.
new products, always exciting. And I think that's about all we have time for. So thank you for talking to us today, Oliver. We hope everyone enjoyed watching and enjoyed the discussion. Remember, you can find out more about Denon and the products we've discussed on the What Hi-Fi Show website.